The glue is dried on the back. Let's take off the clamps. And then we'll take off our extra long clamp. We inspect our joint. We see it's nice and tight all the way around. It's looking very good. So the next step is, and you can see how it's tapered down. So the next step is we're going to, first of all, because I put these glue blocks up, we just need to cut this equal to the outside edge of the side. We will glue on our kerfing, and then we'll shape this side and attach the front. At this point, there's no need to secure the Kirar to the workboard. We'll be using it off the workboard. I scored the line with a utility knife, and that will give me a nice crisp edge right here. If it's easier, you can just have the cut come straight across, square to the outside edge. And the reason for that might be fitting the top is a little easier if it's square, but I'm going to have it angled so we have a nice smooth line come all the way through. And I'm going to remove the rest with a chisel. All the kerfing is dry, the glue is dried, it's attached, and I'll do the same thing that I did on the back. I drew the lines, and we have the line here. The only difference is right at the edge where this block ends, that's where our curve is going to come down to. So that's 1/4 of an inch from here. So this is going to be radius 1/4 of an inch. And yes, that's a straight line, but when we use our large sanding block, we'll smooth it a little bit and make it rounded, just like our braces were. So I'll get to it. I'm going to remove all this waste wood right down to here, and from here down to here. I use the same process to sand our curves. I put the marks on it, make sure the marks are clear on the edge. We don't have to worry about glue on the inside. All we need is about 5 millimeters on the edge, and that should be more than enough for a glue edge. So now I realized I should have cut this before we put the back on. I should have cut the reinforcing joint, but that's alright. What we can do is just measure our distance on the inside, which is 10 inches. I can measure 10 inches, and we'll cut it a little bit short. So I'll cut that off, and I'll show you how to fit the top. And fitting the top takes a little bit of time. So I need to be patient, I need to take my time, and the better we make it fit, the better the Kirar is going to look. So to fit the top, I temporarily clamped on the top. I made sure my center lines were lined up. I can see them on both sides, at both ends, they're lined up. Now, what I need to do is we need to cut this little shelf. So the important thing is I'm going to mark right where this is. And I'm going to mark it on the inside. Because this is going to be a critical point. You can see I need to join those lines and cut out as close as I can to them. So I join that line. And I join this line. And there will be several test fittings to make sure that it gets in there. So I'm actually going to cut this off at an angle like this. So I will cut it here and up and here and up, and you'll see why in a moment. I did not cut all the way up to the line. I left about a 1/16 of an inch. And I'll use a combination of sandpaper and my rasp, and I'll get this line get it down as close to the line as I possibly can. And here is my first test fitting. We'll see how accurate we are. Again, I want to make sure my center lines are lined up, and we push up as tight as we can. I can see that I need to take off a little bit on the outer edges, and the reason I cut, you can see now why I cut this at an angle, just to give me a little extra room in there. So, now it's looking good. I'm just checking my fit. I can see that this dips down a little bit, so I need to smooth this out. There's a little hump right here, but we'll do that afterwards. So, I'm going to clean this up a little bit. Let's see how it fits. It fits pretty well. Just pressing down, making sure we have a nice tight fit. Okay. So now that we have a tight fit, I can mark the outline, and just like the back, I'll trim this to about a 1/4 inch. Okay, I test clamped to make sure everything looked good, and I think it's ready to clamp it up and glue it up. So I'm going to apply my glue just like I did for the back. I'll put it on, we'll be all ready because our assembly is virtually done. The only thing left to do is add our what we call our bridge, or our place to attach our strings. So that will be next, and we do that right on to the car. We laminate it right on the car. So let's let that dry and then we'll move on.